Hi there, I'm Mark Fink from Dairy Innovation Australia, and I wanted to take you through our new Build Your Own Dairy Factory app that we've just put out there for you guys to have a look at. It's designed to work really well on iPads and even on a smartphone. It sizes automatically, hopefully, so hopefully whatever platform you're on, you'll have a good experience. Now, when you first get there, you type in, if you haven't got the link already, apps.dairyinnovation.com.au, and you'll see this first screen that we're on now. And I'd encourage everyone just to start with the demo app, which is what we'll go through today. If you register your interest and get an email address, then you can get into a fuller and larger app that has a lot more information in it. But the demo app just chooses 8 different things and will give you a good feeling. So we just click demo app and we end up with this first page, which this is about a whole milk powder plant, how we spray dry to make milk powder, and in this analysis we'll look at that. Shortly we'll be launching ones that do fresh market milk and also UHT milk plants. But let's have a look at the whole milk powder plant here. And in the advanced version you can look at skim milk or whole milk or some ratio between them. So we start with entering your numbers, and you can see there are 4 dots here and we have to move through these 4 screens. The first one is production volume, and you can do this 2 ways. You can say I've got this much milk and it will calculate how much powder you want, or you can say how much powder you want and there's milk. Now, most of the labels through our apps have little hints and helps if you click on them, and your milk supply and year 1 of operation it's looking for. So let's say I'm a farmer and I've got 100 million litres of milk. I put that in and it calculates that I'm going to make 12,563 tonnes of powder, and then we move forward. The next one is just adjusting the seasonality. Now there are 2 things here. It's the seasonality of the milk supply and the seasonality of the sales of the finished product. So in this case I'm going to change this to a highly seasonal production of milk. So this goes from almost no production during winter to very, very high production in late spring, which is typical of some herds, but probably not the Southeast Australian average. As you see, there's a choice of different ones there. And for sales, you've got a choice of 2. You can either follow the milk supply, so that is, I'm going to sell my powder when I make it, or you can sell your powder on a level basis through the year. And that obviously changes the costs that are associated with capital, with warehousing and things like that, and the app does those sorts of things for you. The third screen we look at is the pricing basis, and here you choose between 2 of 3 options. You can choose what the milk price is, the powder price, or the return on capital, or the capital return you're looking for. You need to choose 2 of them, and the third one gets calculated by the app. So I'm going to choose the milk and powder price here. Here we go. Let's say I'm happy to get, let's say, 36 cents a litre for the milk, and I'm looking for a powder price. What's GDT's been around $2,500 US a ton recently. Let's just put that in. And the 4th and final screen that I'd like you to have a look at is the capital and finance screen. And so you've got a choice between the types of milk powder plants you're going to build, if you like, or use. The Greenfield standard design is there, and then there are 2 others, and they're basically 25% more or 25% less in capital costs. So let's use the standard plant. The next thing we're choosing is shareholders' equity, which is basically how much of the money that you're going to need to put into this plant to get it all started and operate the business you're putting in versus how much you're going to finance. So let's say we'll split it 50-50 with the bank or the venture capital, wherever we're getting our equity from, and we're going to pay the bank, let's say, an interest rate of 6. That sounds okay for our house. I don't know if we'll get that for our business here. Let's just put in a 7 just to try that number. So when we've done that, that's it, really. We press submit, we're going to end up with our results. So that's up here, and we wait for the report to generate, and you'll see straight away you get a graph and some numbers on the side. Now I like to look at this yellow line first. This is the earnings before interest and tax. You can see it's got a bit of a curve through the year. This is the 2nd year, so we're not accounting for the cost of making the plant and the startup. and this yellow line is always below zero. So we are losing money constantly under this scenario. We've spent $38 million to build the plant and get the equipment in, get it working. Over this second year, we're going to lose $13 million, and that gives us a negative 75% return on capital, which isn't terribly helpful. From the 100 million litres, we've got 14,000 tonnes of production at the 36 cents a litre we put in and $2,500 a tonne. Now, that was fun, and you go, geez, well, that's no good. What do I have to do to get this above zero? And so you can quickly flick through and just change one thing to see what difference it would make. Instead of 36 cents, what happens if we paid ourselves a woeful 26 cents? Which is a big change, obviously. No one's going to be happy about that in Dairyland, but we can click through, generate the report again, and we go from our $13 million loss to a $3 million loss. So we've taken 10 cents a litre of milk and returned $10 million under this scenario. And so you can quickly go and edit the inputs backwards and forwards, just change one thing. Does it really change anything if I just have 200 million litres of milk? And you can flip through and try that. And you can keep trying scenarios and tweaking one or two things at a time to try to get an understanding of what's going on with the app. Now this app's just looking at whole milk powder. It has obviously some limitations. One of them is it's really only going to be sensible answers between a 1 tonne an hour to a 10 tonne an hour dryer, which you know, is sort of a reasonable size that we'd see in Australia. And we've got some important assumptions in here. At the moment we've got the Australian dollar rate set at 94 US cents for a dollar, and we've got the default milk powder price in here at $3,600 US a tonne. Now both of those numbers we chose on the 5-year average price in the GDT auction and in the exchange rate from 2010 to the middle of 2015. Now sitting here at the end of 2015, both those numbers look like the good old days, of course. Now, so there you go. If you've had enough and you've understood that app, then you can go back to the intro and the home page and get in there. You can register your interest at any time, and you'll send me an email, and I'll get back to you with your login name and password and stuff like that. And when you're ready for that, we'll sign in and we can show you what the real full app does. And we'll do that in another video. Thank you.